Let's make Mexican cornbread. I've got self-rising cornmeal or self-rising cornmeal mix. It don't make no difference. And I have a mixture of white cornmeal and yellow cornmeal. I just like that flavor. Y'all look at my vintage Tupperware. Isn't that just the coolest? Okay, that was 3/4 cups of cornmeal. And Tupperware is the only company I know that has an actual 3/4 cup measurer. All right, 1/4 cup of self-rising flour. All right, we'll just give that a little stir right there. Now, I'm going to use a cast iron skillet. This is number 5 skillet. Okay, it's about an 8-inch skillet. Let me put a little bit of oil in here, probably 2 or 3 tablespoons. My oven is preheated to 400 degrees. How do y'all like my vintage double ovens? I'm just twirling that oil around in the pan here. We're going to let that go in here and be heating up while I mix this together. Now, this recipe is in my cookbook right here, okay? You can order my cookbook on my website. Just go to my profile page, and the address for the website is on my profile page. Okay, I need to mix a little milk with this. Not really measuring this. I'll try to kind of eyeball it and give you a guesstimation though. I'm using just regular whole milk, okay? When I make regular cornbread, I use buttermilk. But when I make my Mexican cornbread, I use whole milk, because if I use buttermilk, it has a tendency to make my Mexican cornbread just kind of packy-like, and I don't like that texture. So I use the whole milk instead. Now, if you are enjoying the content, would you go to my profile and would you tap that follow button? And I would appreciate that. That would help South Alabama Cooking to grow and expand, and that would be great. Okay, I've got just a thick batter here. You see that? I probably used maybe a 1/2 cup of milk. Next, I'm going to add some onion, and I am just cutting this onion up just crisscross like this. This is the way my mom done it. I saw her do this all of my life. She didn't have a cutting board and cut it on a cutting board. She held it in her hand just like this. Then she would just take it and slice it just like this. So that's the way I saw my mom do it, so that's the way I do it, y'all. Works great. We're putting probably 1/4 of a cup of onion in here. Okay, I have diced jalapeno peppers. Now, you just need to add as much or as little as you want for how spicy you want this to be, okay? I don't like it to be so spicy that it burns my mouth. I probably have added about 2 tablespoons. All right, cut corn. I added maybe 1/4 of a cup of cut corn. All right, I'm going to add about a tablespoon of this grease. Stir that in. I'm going to put my skillet back in the oven to keep it hot while I'm finishing mixing up the cornbread. All right, I've got 1 egg. Let's get that mixed in there. All right, we got that in. Now, I have this shredded cheddar cheese. I'm going to just add some of that and just kind of measure with your heart. I like mine really cheesy. I love a lot of cheese in my Mexican cornbread. That was probably 1/4 of a cup. Looking to see if I think that is enough. Maybe I'll add just a tad more. Y'all know what a tad is? That's about a tad right there, y'all. Let's get that stirred in. And we're going to be ready to go. Oh yeah, that is looking fabulous. Y'all see that? That looks perfect. Okay, let's get that skillet out of the oven. We are ready. Let's get this poured in. Oh, it's a sizzling. I don't know if y'all can hear it or not. That's good. That's what we want it to do. We want it to sizzle. When you add that cornmeal mix in there, you want it to sizzle. But you know you got a good hot skillet, and it will help to keep the bread from sticking to the bottom of the skillet if you got that skillet greased good and if you got it good and hot. I try to pass along little cooking tips to y'all that I have just learned along the way from my own cooking, experimenting in the kitchen to make it easier for y'all. Okay, into the oven. It'll probably take about 30 minutes for that cornbread to cook. Look at that, y'all. Okay, let's see if it's going to come out of this pan. Ha ha ha! Slid right out. Beautiful. Okay, I cannot stand it. I can't wait. I'm going to have to cut me a piece of this and taste it right now. And I am going to cut just a piece off of the side because I love the crust on cornbread and biscuits. That is my favorite part. Woo, it is piping hot, y'all. Woo! Can y'all see that steam? Yeah, y'all can see it. It's beautiful. Okay, you know what you really need to put on this? Is some butter. Y'all hang on, we'll put some on it. Okay, y'all, this is some of my homemade butter. Just put a little bit on there. Okay, here we go, taste test, y'all. Oh my goodness. Words cannot even describe how good this is, y'all. It makes me want to start singing in Spanish. Okay, good folks. Y'all be good out there. I'll see you next time with another great recipe.